Welcome to What's the Plot? This is a recap of Curve, a 2016 short horror movie that explores themes of isolation, fear and survival. As it begins, we see a young, brunette woman laying unconscious on a dark, gloomy concrete floor, with a cut on her forehead. We then see a rough ocean with waves crashing back and forth. The woman wakes up suddenly and looks around, not realizing that she is stuck on a curved slope, or how she managed to get there. Is this just a bad dream? She attempts to move, but slips, and starts to slide down the slope, towards the edge. She just about manages to stop herself from falling down. She then looks around in panic, because her surroundings are just gray, concrete walls, and below her is a pit of never-ending darkness. She notices that she has a cut on her finger, and her shoes seem to be covered in blood. With no recollection of how she ended up here in this nightmare of a situation, she faces her reality, and starts to think of a way out. Unfortunately, one of her legs is stuck underneath her, which adds to the difficulty of making it out alive. There is no way of her getting it safely unfolded, without sliding into the abyss. As she begins to cry, a loud haunting chime comes from within the structure. What even is this place? Is she here because she did something wrong? Or has her time just come to an end? She scrapes her nails along the concrete floor, and then she looks up and screams. There is no way out, and waiting for rescue is not an option. She takes a few deep breaths, and attempts to unfold her leg. However, this results in her sliding down towards the edge, but luckily she manages to find her grip again just in time. She takes a few more deep breaths, and gathers her thoughts, as she has a look at her wounded, bloody hands. She wipes some of the blood onto her hoodie, whilst trying to bear the pain, and then blows on her hands to try and dry them, hoping that this will create a better grip when trying to lift herself up from the surface. After she thinks they are dry enough, she gently places them down beside her, and uses her foot to slowly, and carefully push herself up a little bit higher. She then looks over opposite her, and notices that there are bloody hand prints on the other curve facing her. This looks like it could be the last marks of an unfortunate victim, that was also in her position. How long was it before they fell to their inescapable death? Her hands continue to bleed, so she blows on them again, as she is not yet giving up, and manages to push herself up the concrete slope just a few more inches. She knows that she must take it very slow, but every little helps in her dreaded situation. She then hears a strange noise, so she looks around, breathing rapidly and heavily. She then looks over at the opposite wall again, but this time there is even more blood on the concrete. She realizes that she is hallucinating, but is still holding on to hope that she can make it out of this mess alive. She blows on her hands for the third time, and places her bloody palms back onto the cold and rough concrete, ready to try and free her trapped leg again. Just before her attempt, she hears another noise coming from in front of her, so she looks over, only to see even more blood on the opposite side. Now knowing that she is most definitely imagining things, she begins to push herself back up, as her fight for survival is not yet coming to an end. She suddenly slips, scraping even more skin off her hands. She is now in agony. We then hear a scream and a loud bang, and then see even more bloody hand prints appear on the concrete wall in front of her. Is her mind telling her to give up, or is the structure she's in playing tricks on her? More terrifying noises occur as she begins to push herself up, and we see a bird's eye view of the dark hole that she is inevitably going to fall into. Now in severe pain, she looks at her palms, as her skin is basically non-existent, after holding the weight of her life literally in her hands. Just as she thought the situation couldn't get any worse, she sees a raindrop land on her palm. This will most definitely make things harder for her. She hopes that it will just be a quick light rain, but it just keeps on getting heavier. As the rain starts to pour, she holds her position, but eventually loses grip, causing her to slide closer to her pending death. She starts crying and screaming, but then remembers that she is wearing a necklace. She slowly wraps it around her hand, and then pulls it off her neck. She has hopes that this will create more of a grip against the slippery, wet, concrete slope, and save her from this misery. The scene then cuts, and reopens with a view of the slope, but it is now empty. Where did she go? We will never really know what happened to the girl, but there are many different scenarios that could play out in our imaginations. It can be left to your own interpretation. Did she manage to climb up? Or did she fall to her death? Or was it that there wasn't actually a deep drop below her at all, and it was just a few feet drop to a darkened floor? Or maybe it was just a bad dream? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and turn your notification bells on so that you never miss a recap. Thanks for watching.